characters with a power, skill, or significant attribute that they either do not realize yet themselves or must hide from others make for some of the best anime stories. So, welcome back to Animeology, and today we will show you the top 10 animes where the overpowered main character hides their true powers. Before we begin, be sure to drop a like and subscribe down below for more anime top 10s, and without further ado, let's get right into the video. Number 10. Sword Art Online. Kirito is often listed as one of the most powerful characters, but he doesn't actually have any powers. All his abilities are just about how good he is at playing very realistic games. Few, if any, translate into real life, so he is not nearly as skillful in the real world as he is in the game one. Kirito never brags about or announces any of his skills, levels, accomplishments, or game actions, and actually hides his stats so people do not hassle him about being a cheater. Though many people are aware of who he is, he downplays himself so much that even when his friends meet him, you might think that they never suspect he is a fraction of his skillful self. On the other hand, he can be a tad obstinate and cocky too, which gives him away. His deeds never seem to spread very far or wide, so his relatively obscure status remains mostly intact in the gaming world. If anything, he is often thought of as a myth or a legend, as is implied a few times mostly by his enemies who remember him. Number 9. Seraph of the End.
ダメだ! ゆうちゃん、僕と一緒に!
This is a fairly violent and bloody anime, yet it's not filled with pointless, gruesome events just for the purpose of frivolously having them like some whacked shows. It presents the first series of tragic and violent occurrences as part of a background story which sets up the whole series itself, and how and why it all happened. Yet you are still left with some mystery. It's a sort of action horror mixed with a little magic. It's hard to say much without giving too much away, but it has a nice Season 1 closing episode which will leave you wanting more. Overall, Seraph of the End is an excellent masterpiece that will hook you from the start. You will absolutely love this show. If you thought anime and vampires wouldn't mesh, you'd be dead wrong, with a fun adventure and some pretty good plot twists along the way that'll keep you hooked from the start. Number 8. Phantasy Star Online 2 – The Animation. Itsuki doesn't really intentionally hide his powers so much as he doubts anyone would believe him, as he himself is sometimes questioning that reality. A handful of him and his gamer friends have earned a kind of bonus that unlocks unknown hidden abilities. It is ostensibly in a game world and in theory only works there, so these skills have a more limited impact than others on the list, and thus finds a spot here. The powers are hidden now so much to hide identities or protect friends or whatnot, but you get the impression it's more about whether anyone believes it or even finds it embarrassing. If you are a gamer who likes Phantasy Star Online and want a little fun eye candy to go along with the game, then I doubt you would be disappointed. If you're looking for a series that brings some solid plot and gives you a closer look into the world of gaming with an anime twist, then maybe you should sit this one out. Bottom line, if you're looking for some simple fun at a typical high school, then Phantasy Star Online 2 is for you. Number 7. Toco. Toco is a discrete unit and hidden in plain sight. It has elements of Seraph of the End and Tokyo Ghoul, but with older adult characters and a sharper script. Ranmura has nightmares and a secret about himself even he doesn't realise at first. It mixes action and horror well. The series is short at 13 episodes, but is a surprise gem that will make it worth a viewing or two. Toco is a nice action series which suffers from a lot of things, yet despite all flaws pointed out above, it's still a nice action horror series and I really enjoyed parts of it. The major problem is that I really only enjoyed parts of it, as there are so many things wrong with this anime that it's impossible to be able to enjoy it as a whole. It's one of the best animes I've ever seen with some brilliant storytelling. Number 6. Tower of God. In Tower of God, more than one character qualifies. However, some of their obsessions totally bring them down. There is so much backstabbing, conspiracy, and planned strategies involved, it gets more dizzying than the spinning top rides at an amusement park. The story revolves around a tower that summons selected people called regulars and promises to fulfill their deepest desires. Wealth, fame, prestige, or something that surpasses them all await those who reach the top. Bam 25 is a boy who only knows dark caves, dirty towels, and light that cannot be accessed throughout his life. When a girl named Rachel comes to him through the light, his whole world changes. He then became close friends with Rachel and learned various things about the outside world from her. But when she said she had to let him go so she could climb the tower, the world fell around him. He then promised to follow it no matter what happened, hence while staring at the tower. Number 5. ReZero starting life in another world. Saburo Natsuki's power is technically hidden because he is not fully aware himself of what exactly his powers is or where they come from. Not only that, but no one else knows about it and he can't tell anyone either, even if he wanted to, which makes his power pretty hidden from all. I place it 5th because his power is not quite as obvious as others, and though pretty impressive, it has limited uses given, for example, how many times he often has to relive things before he gets it right. I placed it higher than others, however, because of the intense drama and how much power, including his, plays a part in the story. The show gets high hidden power points too for, as I said, how well hidden his power is and above that of some others in this video. Although certain elements of the series can be polarizing, ReZero is generally regarded among the best and most unforgettable entries in the subgenre. There are many reasons why ReZero deserves to be called the best isekai anime. However, competitors for that honor are hardly in short supply. Number 4. Demon King Diamo. Akuto himself does not know he even has hidden skills at first, and even after being told, he is both in denial and doubt that he has either the inclination or the power he is accused of having for being who he is. Everyone at the school soon learns of his identity and power, but often still tries to challenge him. His power is really only hidden at first from even himself and somewhat in later episodes due to some doubts he is either of that nature or is actually who he has been accused of being. Demon King Diamo is all about justice being done. With magic and a harem of girls, this anime is for a mature audience only, but it's a really fun time. Overall, it was enjoyable to watch, but this anime is a perfect example of why it's so difficult to make a good anime in just 12 episodes. The plot was mediocre and there was a lot of confusing holes in many of the scenes that never got answered. Number 3. The Legend of the Legendary Heroes. Technically, Rainer's powers are sort of a national secret, yet he never looks very threatening and his bumbling personality does nothing to make others suspect he is hiding more than his mere meekness and run-of-the-mill magician outfit suggests. Though other characters have some unique abilities, it is mostly all about keeping Rainer's power from being known at large around the world. This is likely in part due to his best friend's positions of power on the world stage and might incur more trouble than it's worth if it were known. So we have fewer characters that qualify for hidden powers, but with a strong need to keep said abilities under wraps. Despite such flaws, The Legend of the Legendary Heroes remains an excellent fantasy anime series. The story is well done, the characters are thoroughly interesting and adopt shades of grey instead of black and white, and every episode is as enjoyable as the previous one. Number 2. Sands of Destruction. Sans has enough foreshadowing that you may figure out there is far more to one or more characters than meets the eye well before the big reveal. As far as hidden powers go, this anime must be at or near the top of any good video list. It has a good shock surprise that will make you smile, having found a good hidden power anime with an even better surprise ending twist. The story begins with an intro from a small bear-like creature. The bartender brings up a main focus of the series, which is the World Destruction Committee. We see our main protagonist, Kiri Ilunis, a beastman working in a local restaurant. He seems to have a negative outlook on world destruction. He gets chewed out for bringing the wrong order for a customer. This is our second main character, Morty Ushila. She is presumed to be part of the World Destruction Committee, but is actually just someone who wants to destroy the world. And number 1. Mob Psycho 100. Mob Psycho 100 anime series focuses on the 8th grader OP-MC Shigo, Mob Kageyama, who has tapped into his inner wellspring of psychic prowess at a young age. But the power quickly proves to be a liability when he realizes the potential danger of his skills. Choosing to suppress his power, Mob's only present use for his abilities is to impress his longtime crush, Tsubomi, who soon grows bored of the same tricks. In order to effectuate control of his skills, Mob enlists himself under the wing of Arataka Regan, a con artist claiming to be a psychic who exploits Mob's powers for pocket change. Now, exercising evil spirits on command, he becomes a part of Mob's daily, monotonous life. However, the psychic energy he exerts is barely the tip of the iceberg. If his vast potential and unrestrained emotions run berserk, a cataclysmic event would render him completely unrecognizable will be triggered. As a result, the progression towards Mob's explosion is rising, and attempting to stop is futile.